Perfect. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to our podcast.
Day 3, and we're getting things better and better. That's probably not correct grammar.
Betterer.
It's getting more and more better on the technical side.
Right.
Yes.
We're learning. Okay. So Thank you for bearing with us. But we are live on Facebook. We have the recording going for you guys for later on. But in today's podcast, we want to go over some fuzzy stuff with you. Are your income goals a bit fuzzy right now? You know, if they are, we want to help give you a little bit of clarification.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of different income goals, right? And so, I mean, we've interviewed, thousands of people over the years for home businesses. And, I want to make more money is not an income goal.
Right.
Right. So, well, I want to, quit my second job. Okay. What specifically is going to do that? Right. Or I want to bring my wife home from work, or I want to save for my college, education for my kids or my grandkids or whatever, but we don't really all the time know exactly what those specifics are. So, yesterday we talked about putting a budget together for our side hustle. So today we're going to kind of move into a category of what are different types of income goals, right? So because we've got short-term income goals, we have long-term income goals, and then some of it's a little bit of a gray area because it's kind of in between the short and the long-term type of income goals, but also things that we want in the short term, are they actually aligning with what we want in the long term? So sometimes, we have to ask ourselves, are we spending too much money to get short-term satisfaction?
Right.
So that's what we're going to dive into today. A little bit of the tough stuff, because it's hard to self-analyze, right? And say, oh, you're right. You know what? I really wanted that, expensive purse or whatever. And and you could have invested that money instead of walking around with, your Coach.
So bag.
Right. Or whatever. I know the guys are like, I don't relate. Right. But I remember my husband and I discussing whether we were going to spend money on a set of golf clubs for him. And you have to weigh that because you need some recreational release.
Yep.
Right. That's do we have to get the best ones out there to enjoy? Are you a professional? No, you go a few times a year. Right. So, let's Christine, let's just talk about maybe a little bit about some examples of what a short-term goal might be for somebody.
Cool. So
yeah.
Do you have an emergency fund set aside? Do you have, most people say, 3 to 6 months of your income that covers your household expenses put aside?
Mm-hmm.
Have you started that? Do you have oh my goodness, the tire just blew out set of money set aside for you to be able to, you know what? I'm not stressing. It's already there for me. I can use this and not worry, right? Do you have something like that set up?
Yeah, an emergency fund would be an important short-term goal.
Exactly.
First goal usually is to put $1,000 away so you have for an emergency, like an immediate emergency, because $500 to $1,000 pretty much covers most immediate emergencies, right? Blow a tire, a lot of emergencies end up happening around people's vehicles.
I just had one myself. I was happy that I had somebody hit my car. It was not me, y'all. Because I know 5 of y'all are gonna be like, it was you. It wasn't me. But I was in Dollar Tree. Somebody backed into my car and they just pulled off. The people in line were like, whoever's car that is going to be very mad. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be mad. They're like, why aren't you mad? I'm like, because I got money put aside for it. It's fine. So just little stuff like that happens. You don't have to be involved for an emergency to pop up.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what Christine was saying, the second kind of emergency fund is having, probably 6 months worth of funds available. I think we've all learned that lesson during the pandemic. And it's not okay, well, I can barely make ends meet. Let's just start putting $50 away every paycheck, right? And then it'll grow eventually. And then using it for true emergencies, because, I would like to go visit somebody is not a true emergency, right? True emergencies, if you will. So I think that is a good short-term goal to put that away. And it'll save you so much headache in the long run, especially when you're trying to get something going on the side as well. It gives you that peace of mind, if you will, And then we have other things. I mean, obviously we want to pay our bills.
Right.
I mean, right. I mean, rent and mortgage, insurance, student loans, whatever it is that we have, credit card payments. Also, I think just paying off credit card debt.
Yes. Like, because we talked about, what was it, yesterday, where we talked about budgeting out all of your expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do me a favor and understand that once you pay off that credit card, that money doesn't get put back in your budget. It goes towards another bill that you're paying off.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a whole trickle down effect, but it will benefit you in the long run, because in the beginning, before I knew more about saving money and things like that, I used credit cards as my emergency fund money. But if you've used and expended all of your balance, your available funds, what do you do? So.
Yeah. And I've heard people say, well, I'm just going to put my emergency fund into crypto because, let's say, because we're in a crypto community, right? But the thing is that it really should be one of the few things that's sitting in either US dollars or if you're doing it in crypto. And for those of you who don't know about crypto, it's okay if this goes over your head, in a stable coin that's earning some interest, because it's emergency fund and you do need to dip into it. So if you have it in something that is growing for you, that you're going to be like, oh, I really don't want to take it out of there. Let me just charge it. Then you're putting more debt onto your credit card again, right? So you want it to truly be something that you have access to quickly, and that you don't use your investments. And also what Christina's saying, your credit cards as a substitute. At least that's what I learned.
Yeah, I learned the hard way.
Right? We're not financial advisors. We're just like two moms who been through it.
Exactly. Right? Like we're telling you the headaches and the punches in the face that we got,
right,
in hopes that you don't have to have them.
Yeah, it's like, let me use my credit card for emergencies, and then next thing you know, you're in credit card debt again. Paying off or wanting to get your side hustle into a place where it can pay your mortgage or your insurance or your student loans or your credit, or pay off credit card debts. That's a short-term goal, not a long-term goal. Right. Even it might still be like a year or two or something like that. But that's still in that shorter realm. Then we have other things we want to do, like travel. Right. My daughter's getting married next July. So there's the whole wedding expense thing going on. So, we're having discussions about what to spend money on and what not, because I know people have spent $20,000 on their wedding, and I'm like, you could have put that as a down payment on your new home in that marriage, right? So, it's a great day. You want it to be beautiful, but there are things that you can do to minimize the expenses for something like a wedding, but that would be also a short-term thing that you might need money for.
I think you just hurt my heart, Christy.
Why?
Okay, so Kevin is in high school.
Oh no.
I got the thought of prom, homecoming.
Yep.
I didn't think about that till right now.
Yep. It's coming.
Yep, it's coming quickly too, because with him being in high school, this will be the first year he can go to a homecoming dance. And children these days, they want something extravagant to dress in, and renting cars, and he has to go through driver's training. My insurance is gonna go up. So think about these things, people. Yeah, and that's short term, because it'll be once a year for the next 4 years, and we will put a budget on it for sure. But now, his earnings that he gets, because my son has an online store, we'll be allocating those a little bit more towards his things that are coming up that I just thought about right now, because Christy said the wedding.
Right. And you just heard that her son has an online store. It's never too early to get your kids, something going. And you can even, and again, I'm not an accountant or a financial person, so you want to talk to somebody in that realm, but there are ways to pay your children and write that off on your taxes. And there's no rule that says that money you pay them can't be used to buy clothes.
Yep.
And pay for their sporting events and things like that. So that's always something else to look into, and it kind of delves into a larger category. But short-term goals like the school dance for your kids, right? The prom, all that. And I know that some of us have to save for those things like that. I have a relative, she knows she's going on a trip next year. She literally has to put away a little tiny bit of money every week, or she cannot go. Right. So not everybody's in the same financial place, but those are short-term goals. Things that we have to do around the house, right? Little repairs and improvements or big improvements.
Yeah. Home ownership is definitely something that you want to have an emergency fund for.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't, it's just like being a parent to me. There's nothing in the world that can like prepare you for everything that could possibly happen when you have a kid or when you own a home, So that's definitely a short-term goal that you want to start setting aside stuff for.
Right. And then we have long-term goals. And I mean, long-term goals would be like the retirement fund or paying off the whole mortgage, right? Getting to the place where you own your house free and clear, saving for a child's tuition. That's a way longer goal. And then I think there are some things that maybe fall into a little bit of a gray area. But when you're thinking about short-term, long-term goals, that's when you have to go back and say, okay, are there things that are short-term income goals that I'm spending money on or I'm saving money towards, like the dances she's talking about? Does she go extravagant with Kevin and get him everything he wants, or does she help him? They work together to make it still good and memorable, right, but not spending so much money that she's also raising him and teaching him that this would not be a good time to waste $10,000, right? Or whatever.
You know what's funny? My son is better at saving than me. Like when we go to the grocery store, right? When we go to the grocery store, I'm like, Kevin, we're on a budget. Remember, we're on a budget. AKA, his job is to remind me, because I will squirrel off on a sweater like really quickly. So he'll probably be helping me. Like I'll give him, whenever I ask him what his budget is for things, he's very reasonable.
That's great.
I love that.
I think that's great.
I'm not. I learned the hard way.
Yeah. Well, Kevin has had a lot of exposure too over the last few years to our community. Yeah. So he's learning young. And my girls are grown, right? And they may be watching, but I didn't really teach them about money. So sorry, ladies. I'm so sorry. I really didn't. I taught them how to be an entrepreneur and work from home, and that you, or at least the idea that you can, right, work from home, because the majority of their growing up, second half, I was home when they went to school. I was home when they came home. We traveled together. We did whatever we wanted because of the home-based business industry for years and years and years. But my son, I really, like, yesterday we got some new silver in the mail. Ooh. It was Sonic the Hedgehog. I do order a few fun coins because it's fun for him.
Yep.
And he's like, looking at it. So we got a double dragon, we got Hakuna Matata, and another Lion King one. I think it's Rafiki, and he's like holding up Simba on the front of the coin. But these were fun coins for him. And then I make sure that I'm also ordering my American Silver Eagles as well. But those are fun ones for him to open up. We put them in the cases, and he's like, can I show dad? Can I show dad? So I'm teaching him early on. And I don't want to say how much, money and silver we have, but we just buy a little bit of silver at a time. And I just told my husband, this box is full.
Right.
So, it's XYZ. It's worth the XYZ. And it's like, where did that come from?
Tank of gas a month is what I spend.
Right.
So
it's just doing these little things, but I digress. So what we really want to kind of impress on is, are there things that we are spending too much money on for short-term satisfaction? So when we look at short-term goals, things like the emergency fund are important. I will see people spend money on, let's say, the prom before they put money away in an emergency fund.
Yep.
Right. Which is backwards. Yeah. It's backwards. So yeah, it's because you got to still live your life. We can all die tomorrow. So you don't want to be living this life where you can never do anything. You appreciate what you have today while you work towards other things, but also recognize that if you want to get an income going on the side, or you want to replace your job income, whether it's with affiliate marketing or crypto trading or Forex trading or network marketing or whatever it is that you're in, selling your own paper wreaths, right?
Right.
Whatever it is, that there are going to be, or there should be, some small sacrifices to make that happen. And, I was reading this post about it was just a gentleman talking about spending. And he's like, next thing you know, you spent this much on the vacation, this much on the vacation. I'm like, for me, it's not about overspending on cars and vacations.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it has been about the little stuff that I'm not paying attention to.
Yep.
That adds up.
Yep.
Right? Like turtles at the gas station.
And I was just thinking like me and my turtles. But when I started paying more attention to my grocery bill and paying more attention to the things that left my pantry quicker than the other things, and I could make that shift, being able to put more money, because my son started investing in cryptocurrency the same time I did. So being able to put that extra couple dollars into a couple assets made a difference for us. So we weren't getting rid of the things that we enjoyed. We were better utilizing what we were used to and budgeting it. So we didn't eliminate it, but we budgeted it so we could still enjoy it, but still put money where it needed to be.
And this is stuff they just don't teach in school.
No.
Financial literacy. And it's just, when you look at all of it, it's common sense. And yet, I know people, no one has any common sense anymore. I'm not a pessimist about the human, condition. I think that most people actually do have common sense, but it's not habit and it's not ingrained in us unless we grow up in certain households.
Yep. Because I didn't grow up in a household where talking about the budget and paying bills was a big thing. My father was a construction worker. So for me, it was like, if we could afford it, I would go get it. If we couldn't afford it, that meant we didn't need it. So I didn't have those boundaries with money that should have been there.
Mm-hmm. And
now with Kevin, it's different because it's my money. It's not like coming from my dad. I'm not holding my hand out like, Daddy, right. Can I? So now I'm trying to teach him those same things. When we go to the store, like if you want a bag of chips and some pop and stuff, okay, how much money did you bring with you?
Right.
Because this is a trip for us to go to the gas station and get gas. So I budgeted for that. So what do you have? Give me what you have. And it makes a difference now because he has a little debit card that I let him keep money on that he can bring with him when we go out. And especially for his birthday and stuff, we get gift cards, all types of stuff. So bring some of what you have with you and then you'll start to see why I ask you the questions and things like that I do. And it just as like we keep saying, there's not a lot that really they teach us in school about these things. You kind of learn the hard way.
Yeah, and in my household, we did budget. My mom was very frugal and she did rebates and she'd save up and with all her rebates and then buy a microwave with it, right? Or she bought her waterbed with it. She had things that she wanted, so she would do all this coupon clipping and things like that. But what we never really learned was then how to take the money and invest it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, I'm saving money, but what do I do with it? Just saving money for the sake of saving money or saving money for the sake of making another purchase to me is not like what we do here anymore, not in this household. If we have extra money, it's invested. And if we don't have extra money, we figure out how to make some extra money so that it's invested.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it's like kind of a short show today, guys, but we just really wanted to, before we kind of dive in, because tomorrow we're going to talk about the 5 steps to getting a fast start, making money with a side hustle. We're going to go through some like specific, steps, if you will. But, if you didn't watch yesterday, you want to wrap your mind around getting your budget of time and money together, because it's hard to decide what you want to do. As a side hustle, there's a zillion and one ways to make money. It's easier to make money now in this day and age than it ever has been in history.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying it's easy because it's a mindset thing, but it's easier than it's ever been in history. There's so much opportunity because of technology.
Technology, right. The opportunities that are here. If I had some of these opportunities just from the internet when I was younger, I would have been an entrepreneur much earlier in my life. Like just kids out here playing video games to earn money.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't an option for me, right? Kids, what's the little boy's name that does the unboxings?
Oh, it's funny. I was just going to do a little video for you guys on TikTok about how you can make money unboxing, but I can't think of his name.
Okay, what was he, like 8?
Yes.
Making 6 figures, opening toy boxes on YouTube.
Oh, it's Ryan.
Yes, that is his name.
Yeah, because my son used to watch it. He's a little old for his channel now, but he used to watch them all the time. Yeah. And then there's the hobby kids, and they're crazy too. They like unbox things and do crazy videos.
You like Legos, right? Everybody likes Legos,
yes.
right? There's a guy named Jane. His channel is Jane Bricks. We watched him for years because he would open up boxes of Lego sets and put them together. And he had this room with like Legos everywhere. Mm-hmm. And then that would inspire us to go out and buy Lego sets.
Yeah.
And if you have something like that you're doing, affiliate links are a thing.
Yep.
And I didn't know about that earlier. So it's lots of ways because of technology for you to be at home from your couch or your computer chair and just make some extra money.
We're going to start on the TikTok today. I promise you guys on Wednesday. I don't know if these specific videos will be up today, but we are going to do a quick TikTok on how to get started making money, unboxing stuff, right? And a lot of times, what does that mean? Free product, right? You get a lot of free products that way. We're going to do another video on how to get started in, freelance marketing, like affiliate marketing, which costs nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing. You can get started with time and no money. So we're going to do a quick one on that. And I think Christina I'm going to call her out right here, should do a TikTok on go to the store, Dollar Tree, buy something like this and show us a little bit about her.
I'll do a time lapse for you guys.
Yep, yeah, that would be cool. Yes.
Okay, I got you. I'm going to need, I think I should be able to put it up for you guys by Friday.
Cool,
because it does take time for the reefs, but I want to do a time lapse for y'all because I need to put one on my door this year too. So that'll give me the encouragement to get it done for you guys.
There you go. So yeah. Yeah. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We are again tomorrow. It's going to be 5 steps to getting a fast start with your side hustle. So start to break down. Also, we have a worksheet that we've had for a long time. If you are on, it's for your budget, right? It's like a cheat sheet for you to write all your stuff down. We've been handing it out. If you're on our mailing list at pipsforbrunch.com, it's going to be part of the email tomorrow. So you'll get that bonus if you're in our newsletter.
So go ahead, go to pipsforbrunch.com and sign up for the newsletter so that you don't miss out on the hints and tips and the sauce that we drop that won't be on the lives. Okay?
That's right.
Listen, you guys have an awesome and productive day, and we will see you in the next show. Bye.
Bye, everybody.